Brett was not ready.
I could tell you were not ready.
But then I remembered that I'm always ready for a yarn with the buys. So here we are.
Fair.
What a way to begin. And you'll never guess it. What's up, nerds?
This is such a bad
If you're
start.
listening to this, we survived the Rapture, baby. The odds were stacked against us. I've been a devout believer the whole time. And I lived. What is going on?
It is so wild to me, though, that I didn't hear about this until literally last night when you told me about it. And I was like, wait, what? So, like, I genuinely had to look into this. And so I started off by, like, when I was thinking about it, I like to write down, like, footnotes of what I'm doing so that I don't forget in case something really stupid happens, right? And I asked myself, Rapture, bullshit or not? But, like, of all things, like, why just, like, it wasn't even, like, a specific day either. He said September 23rd or 24th.
Yeah. So,
like, what is it, like a schedule? Like, this is when it's allotted that I might take some of you?
Well, yeah, so here's the thing. We've only made it through half of the Rapture, allegedly, so I did a little digging on this today because it was slow. And so I learned that this like the Rapture has been declared a lot, right? It's not a new thing. It exists in the Bible as a thing that's going to happen. This time, it was a South African pastor.
Yeah, Joshua
predicted it. Joshua Malakala. We could sit here for an hour trying to pronounce that name. We're not going to do that.
No.
But he predicted it as the 23rd or the 24th, because that prediction linked it to Rosh Hashanah, which was Monday.
Yes, that is the Feast of Trumpets for Jewish communities.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense because here's the thing about Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the Feast of Trumpets. It's also the Jewish New Year. And the Jewish New Year lasts 10 days. So it's this biblical festivity for the Jewish people, and they're like, brother, this is the day. And on that 10th day, the last trump, which is supposed to be Yom Kippur, which is a completely different day in the actual calendar, that's the day that allegedly the rapture will happen. So technically, it's already passed, even according to the people. Like, so it's so wild. It's like the donations were down, and the parish is struggling, brother. And we got to find a way to drum up new funds.
Yeah, that's a good way to get people to sell their houses and cars and donate.
Yeah, got it. It's the apocalypse.
That was a question for me. If these people are going nuts, right? And hello, Stephanie. And like these people are going nuts, and they're selling their houses, their cars, all of their earthly belongings. My first thought was, what the fuck are they gonna do with the money if they don't wake up tomorrow? Like, what is the point?
Well, so that's what I don't get. So lots of people, what they've been doing, what has happened is that they've been selling all of their worldly possessions and then giving it to people that they believe are not going to be taken to the kingdom of God within the rapture.
Hey, you're a sinner. Want $300?
Yeah, I don't listen. I have no use for this Earthmobile. It's what's up, Space? Hi, Steph. So like, I'm glad to see you guys also survive the rapture. I'm sure whatever comes next can't be worse than what's happened.
Yep.
We
survived. Good to know we're all going to hell.
Yeah, but like the level of ego. So like, Christianity as a whole kind of believes that like everybody should be forgiven for everything almost all the time, unless you break the 10 key commandments.
Yeah, as long as you don't do anything to slight us, you're okay.
In all of this, another weird, fun religion fact that I learned
Oh God.
is that, and I guess I just listen. I was bad at Bible school. I was also bad at regular school. So like, I learned a lot today.
If you have
Another fun
5
thing I learned
apples.
from it was, I want to say I read it on the United Nations Church of Christianity or Church of Democracy, something like that. But
Yep.
it's like
This
their
always ends
religious
well.
institution. They talk about how, so the Ten Commandments, as we know them,
Right.
are not the Ten Commandments. Because, and bear with me now,
Okay.
I
I gotta hear this.
I love how, when, you know what I love? How when you and I were talking about, do we want to talk about politics or religion? We were both like, we should avoid those like
Yeah,
the
I know. And
plague.
then the fucking story of the week turns out to be religion.
And then the rapture happens, and we don't get taken, so here we are. Okay, so when Moses goes up to Mount Sinai, he spends, originally, it's 10 days and 10 nights with God.
Right.
And God passes on to him the 10 commandments, and he scribes them into 2 stone tablets to then carry down to his Jesuit followers as they cross through the desert.
Correct.
And there was like, and then he comes down, right? And of course, people are going to people, so they've already broken like 8 of the 10. If rules are made for anything, it's to be broken. So he comes down the mountain, sees this, and what does he do? What any rational leader would do. He immediately throws them on the ground and breaks them.
Sounds about right.
According to biblical text, the original 10 Commandments were shattered at the feet of the mountain, and it was that act that woke the community gathered that he had led this far to reconcile with what they were doing and stop. And then God calls him back to the top of the mountain, where he spends 40 days and 40 nights, a new set of time, another 40 days and another 40 nights
if you
at the top of
me...
the mountain, inscribing a second set of commandments onto new tablets.
I'm sorry.
What?
If you commanded me to go up a mountain to write down some rules and come back down just to see everybody has already broken those rules just to call me back up, I would literally just look at it and be like, nah, just open the gates now, let everybody fall in. Like, I'm not coming up a second time. Like, it just ain't happening.
So that's what happened. And that has nothing to do with the rapture. It's just a funny thing that happened. Also, how's it going, Averix?
Yeah, just funny thing.
I'm watching both chats. It's just a funny thing that happened.
Thank you. I need to open up YouTube's chat.
The Bible is full of funny things that happened. But the rapture is like the craziest of them. So the rapture, by like religion at large, is not viewed as like a mainline belief because it doesn't make any sense. I'm not streaming.
Well, no,
space.
and on a
I'm
lot,
just here.
On a lot of like in a lot of modern day biblical texts, the rapture actually doesn't even show up anymore. They only showed up in 3 specific places. One of them I know is the Thessalonian, I believe, the Thessalonian verse, which is a very rare verse.
Yes. Which, you know, it doesn't appear anymore. Where it really took off was a guy in the United Kingdom or Scotland. He was a pastor, and he read about the rapture, and he believed it was going to come true. He was shunned at large, and it wasn't until like the 1860s and 70s when he started traveling to North America into the United States that the United States people adopted this belief at large, because they believed, like par for the course of the United States, that they were the chosen ones to be saved when the second coming of Christ happens. So
right, I'm listening.
That's why it's a really big thing here, is because the Americans were like, well, obviously we're the ones who get saved. Yeah. USA on top forever, baby. And that's like the gimmick. That's the whole thing.
You know,
that's why it's so largely popularized at this point, is because everybody's just like, obviously we're gonna be the ones. to be saved. And it's the United States, which is the extremely loud minority.
Right. You know, what I want to know, though, is given how many people, especially, like you said, in the States, believe this to be true, I want to know today, given that a lot of people thought it was supposed to happen 23rd specifically, how many HR calls were there at people's workplaces today because people walked in to work today, saw their coworkers, and said, "Damn, you're still here"? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, real talk. Forget the whole religious bullshit. I want to know the outcome. I want to know the consequences. Like, you know, it's bad enough that people believe that you're actually going to get fucking Hoover vacuumed like God doing spring cleaning up into the sky. But, you know, what are people's attitudes coming out of this?
The level of ego required to believe without a shadow of a doubt that you are the one to be saved. And so, like, this goes back to the commandment thing. This is where I was going with that.
Right, right.
You know, Ouroboros, the snake comes around and eats its tail. So these people are selling everything they have, or they're giving everything they own away.
Right.
To people that they genuinely believe cannot be saved.
Hello, Averix.
Which is like the antithesis of the entire concept of religion.
Right.
Which is to build community and be welcoming to all. Not that that's anything new.
Right.
For the church at large, but it's like the act of doing it condemns someone.
Yeah.
How are you just like, yeah, dog, that makes sense?
Honestly, I think the most egotistical thing to come out of this so far that I've seen was the story formulating on New York Times about people who were, as we already talked about, selling their cars, quitting their jobs, selling their homes, all their earthly possessions, but then taking the time to leave survival guides for those left behind. How fucking...
There's a chick in the States who's like hardcore evangelical. I'd never seen these before, but I started seeing these TikToks of her like doomsday prepping to prepare her husband for when he is left behind in the rapture. And there's TikToks of her stashing cash, her stashing survival guides. There's a TikTok of her basement with like those tilt-up plastic shelves that are just covered front to back in jarred and preserved vegetables and fruits. What's even wilder about that to me is she has kids, so she's also preparing for her kids not to be saved in the rapture. That's what I'm saying, Space. It's the most passive-aggressive thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, just like,
I
listen,
do remember.
I know you're not going to be saved, but I withdrew our life savings and I sold my car
for you,
so that you would survive in the world.
I do remember seeing one single TikTok about that when she mentioned something about her husband and kids. My thought would be, all they have to do to make her suffer is when she starts floating up into the air, just stick her in the corner of the living room and she'll be stuck there like a balloon. You know, then she ain't going nowhere. She's got to live with her consequences then.
That's just kind of bad parenting, is right. Here's the thing that I keep thinking about, and it makes me think of like these interviews. I think it was Wired that did them for a while, or like but they're compiled into clips now, and it's like lots of them are edits. It's like, would you kill to save your child?
Oh, right.
And it's all of the women answering it, and they're like, I don't think so.
I'd probably get in someone's face and get punched a lot. I do remember seeing that one.
Listen, if I woke up tomorrow and it was like, oh shit, like, let's put myself in the same shoes as the woman who's preparing her husband for the apocalypse. If I woke up in her position,
first of all,
there is no reality. Well, yeah, but there's no reality in which I am not fighting God. Because you're telling me, with everything I know, world's ended. It's done. Good show, folks. We had a great run while it lasted. And I'm saving you, but not the people you love. And it's like, and I'm not supposed to fight God on this? What hill do you die on, Haas?
Yeah,
Like,
something a little off about
You're
that.
just like, yeah, like absolutely. It's so wild. To Steph's point,
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
she made a
agree.
good point because honestly, one of my thoughts when I heard about this was I would sin so hard the night before to ensure I didn't get taken because there's just way
Yeah.
too many things I want to do in my life. Like there's a new Avatar movie coming out. There's too much shit I want to see. There's too much shit I want to see and do. Like it's just not happening. You ain't taking me.
Hold on. Your reason. Hold on, let's go back to that. Your reason to deny the kingdom of God is there's a new Avatar movie coming out, and I'm kind of excited for that. I haven't even gotten to see the new Demon Slayer movie. You can't take me now.
Oh god.
How am I gonna know how Attack on Titan ends? Will they ever find the One Piece? Oh man. That's so funny. To Steph's point, I agree. You should live. You should live in a way that is good, irregardless of how you like. Don't be like garbage to people, and like hopefully people won't be garbage to you, and just like keep that circle of reciprocity going.
Well, like one of the things that people talk a lot about, which ties into the whole Ouroboros theory that you mentioned earlier, was literally be kind to thy neighbor. What's so difficult about that? You don't have to interact with them to be kind. Yeah. Just don't go out of your way to be an asshole.
My favorite part about using that analogy around like truly religious people is that's a Norse analogy. That's old gods. Because the idea is if the serpent eats its tail, Ragnarok has come.
Yeah.
Right? Ragnarok is the Norse version of the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Space, you got it dead right. Just be nice. It's like, listen, in the eternal words of my great-grandfather, tomorrow is too late, and yesterday's already passed.
Yep, I know this one.
So just be good in the moment. That's all you've got.
Okay, to be fair, I've heard a different version of that, but it's the same thing. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That's why today is a present. Yeah.
Yeah. That was me.
That's the thing.
That was how my great grandfather said it originally. I tried to like simplify it a little bit.
The thing is though, is like different wording, same theory, right? Like appreciate what you have in the moment instead of looking to the things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, it's just try. Like I know for sure I am absolutely the most guilty of it. I am the king of just saying shit without thinking about it. Just try not to be a dick. And if you are a dick, apologize and mean it. That's a big one.
It wasn't
admit you did something wrong.
It wasn't so much of a dick thing, but I saw it and I couldn't help but laugh. It was on Twitter for like Prime out there reposted a shit ton. In the midst of all this Rapture shit going on the night of September 22nd, I came across a post saying, in other news, Jimmy Kimmel official returns live tomorrow. It was such a slight.
Got something.
Exactly. It was such a slight, but I was just like, oh man, that would be hilarious if Jimmy Kimmel's just sitting there and watching people from his crowd disappear.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
But I mean, let's be fair though. Anybody who actually pays to go see a Jimmy Kimmel show, they ain't being taken. I already know what they're in for. Oh man. See, this is why I could never be taken in a Rapture though, because I'd have too much fun with it. I would happily sit out on my lawn and watch all of my neighbors float up into the sky while I'm just sitting there with a beer having a grand old air show, Like watch all those kids who tried to jump off the roof when they were, little, saying they could fly, finally get to be the airplane that they always thought they were. But
yeah, it's it is so good to me. I always enjoy, like, religious people are fun, is what I'm saying.
They are.
You don't have to be
Yeah.
mean to them. You like,
No.
I haven't been very religious in a long time. I've
Oh,
had
neither.
some
Yeah.
very religious people tell me that I am very wrong for my opinions
Oh, what
on why
else is
that
new?
is.
Honestly, are you
It's
surprised about that?
no. And like, I think to a certain extent religion is good because some people need like a general guideline and like compass on how to live. Like some people just don't have that. Some people aren't,
Yeah, which is fair.
I'm not going to say informed enough, but like they lack kind of that general
They lack
amount of exposure
the natural
required.
compass.
Yeah, you gotta experience things and be a witness to stuff and formulate opinions on everything. So it takes a long time to generate that moral compass, like which way is up, which way is down. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? Am I left or am I right? Am I dead center? Does it matter?
Yeah.
Not really. You know.
Up is down, right is
So
left. It's just running
up,
life
down, down,
on. It's just running.
left, right, A, B, select, start. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like it's all the Konami code.
you just got to get used to running life on inverted controls.
Yeah.
But
So because we're talking about the Rapture, I want to talk about a video game that I'm playing.
okay,
This is my perfect segue. Like how I did
okay,
that?
yeah,
That
cool.
was
Because
pretty smooth.
I have my own, which we can go into after this. But yeah, I want to hear your video game because I also have a argument for later about a different video game. So let's do yours.
I have been playing the playtest for The Lift, Superman.
Right, which I still haven't checked out.
Supernatural Handyman Simulator. It's an early access playtest right now. It's the basic premise of the game, from what I've gotten out of it so far, is that um, you are a handyman renovating a massive research facility that was abandoned after an incident. The aesthetic and like the actually, it was something I appreciated a lot. The aesthetic of the building itself in certain moments was very Control. If you've ever played that game,
Oh, like
Control,
you're talking about like
where you
Control that's part of the Alan Wake series?
correct. So
I have not, but I do own it.
the aesthetic of the lift in certain moments and like the way they depict certain things is very much like Control, which is probably one of my favorite PlayStation 4 games.
Right.
And like you just go around and you find, light bulbs and power cable pieces and little power generators and like synchrotrons. And you have to you fix stuff, and as you fix stuff, it improves the condition of the facility. You gain access to the next area and you keep repairing things.
Right.
I'm not very good at it. I suck at puzzle games. There's lots of puzzles. But the concept was cool, and I do look forward to it when it does come out. Apparently, it's inspired by, because I'm literally reading the Steam description right now.
I know. I
it's
see your webcam.
Inspired by Soviet. Yeah, it's well, the people on the stream can't. William.
No, I don't. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
This is an audio medium, my friend. Get used to me explaining
Articulate everything.
Articulation is key. But it's based on Soviet science fiction and the SCP lore. So that's
okay,
like that was the
right.
basis point for it. But it was really cool. I spent a couple hours with it. Actually, all of the time I've spent with it was when I learned the playtest was live. So yesterday I played it for about 4 hours total. And I got into because the playtest puts you in 2 areas. And so I solved all of the puzzles in the first area.
Right.
And then you have an opportunity to skip ahead into the next area.
Okay.
And it was really cool, especially once it opened up a little bit, because like the first area you play in is where like your initial test in the tutorial takes place before the Rapture, which is what I'm just going to call it because it's funny. So
look, Rapture completed. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Next. So anyways, I played a game about the Rapture this week, and it was awesome. I absolutely loved being a handyman in what is essentially the SCP building. I was concerned when I first saw the trailer because I don't do great with horror,
right?
As a genre at all.
Agreed.
But it's, at least as far as the playtest lets you experience, there was no horror so far as to speak as about. So that was pretty good, and I'm looking forward to playing some more of that when it comes out.
So, is that all the
What did-
premise they've given you for the game so far, or is there leading up to like where you eventually will have to be running from monsters and trying to fix things at the same time?
Listen, there's no reality in the core gameplay loop that I can see where you would be able to do that. The
So
game
this
gives you some
is
stuff that might be possible to fight things with, but the fighting would be tedious at best. One of the things the game gives you is the whole thing is like the power that the station operates on. Like this facility is it's
right.
a Tesla idea, which is waves.
Oh,
Energy is being transmitted from everything at all times.
right.
Um,
Okay.
and I probably got the wrong scientist on that one, but we'll just move on. It's not that important to the story at
Yeah.
large. So everything generates waves, and there are good waves, and then there is static. So the reason why this facility was abandoned is because the static overwhelmed the waves and everything shut down.
Oh.
This as part of the static, this like I'm gonna just call it cosmic goop because that's as far as the game tells you that's what it is.
Right.
Appears over things and it will impede your path, and like there's certain objects you can't get access to if the goop is there. It gives you a little like vacuum cleaner gun to clean it up with, very Luigi's Mansion.
Ah, okay.
And there's no reality you can do a boss fight like that. Like Control,
No, that's fair.
You play in the bureau, and the idea is you're here to fix the bureau. You are the new director.
Right,
and that's
right.
as much as I can tell you without spoiling the game.
Right, right.
And you find different things that help you do that. So this isn't that. This is very much like it's a very you game because you enjoyed Power Wash Simulator a lot, and I got you really into Hard Space Shipbreaker, which is another like you work a job game.
Yeah, no. Now that you mention that, I'm definitely seeing a pattern in your game style.
This is a narratively driven version of that, I think. Yeah, I'm a workaholic. I like to work while play games.
He comes home from work to play a game about work. Seems fitting.
Hilariously, says you, the man who used to come home and I would see your Steam notification pop up playing Power Washing Simulator, and he would play it. Chat, I shit you not, he would play this game for like 6 hours in a run before he started streaming full time.
It was
the absolute funniest shit.
It was kind of like my background game
like,
I used when I was catching up on anime and music.
Because I would be like, hey, I see you're playing this a lot. And at like a function, he'd be like, yeah, it's really good. I'd be like, have you ever considered playing a game that actually is good? Like, why don't you try Hard Space Shipbreaker? Because that's a cool game where you play as like basically you're a corporate slave. You've been your whole livelihood is owned by this corporation, and your job is to break down spaceships. It's rad. Highly recommend it. I'm pretty sure there's a demo you can play for free. You get to do like the first tier of ship, and each tier gets gradually more complicated. That's like a fun version of work for me because it's not believable. Granted, I work in the car wash and pressure washer industry, so Power Washing Simulator was literally never my thing. I played the game once because I think we were going to play it on stream, and I played it for like 30 minutes. And I was like, why doesn't it tell me the flow rate of a pressure washer, Will? Yeah. You were like, don't read that far into it. And I was like,
don't read that far into it. It's a video game.
You were like, I was like, the nozzles don't do what they say they do. And like, don't read that far into it. And I was like, why is the upgraded pressure washer more pressure? What's the flow? Anyways, I'm going off on another because I could spiral about that for a while.
To be fair, what I said to you word for word was actually something I stole from one of our other friends that we stream with. Is don't think too hard about it. That way lies madness. Just enjoy the game for what it is. This man could not do that because we were literally playing a game about his livelihood. So he took it to the extreme. And he was the one, I was willing to work with him. And then he was the one that was like, you know what? Nah, I'm out.
This game sucks. Space, I am concerned about your Pinterest feed. You should probably get rid of Pinterest.
I'm honestly surprised anybody still has that nowadays.
If your algorithm isn't nothing but lizard and cars, then you've got the wrong algorithm. But that might just be mine. The algorithm knows what I'm about at this point. It knows I always hit like. I always hit like on the lizard, and I absolutely adore motorsport memes.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything because mine's not much different. Well, except mine has a healthy mixture of motorcycles.
Actually, I've recently, today I noticed I have more motorcycle content, which is interesting because, like, I don't ride a bike. Is it for character design inspiration? That's valid. Coming up with a good character design is difficult. Ask me how we know.
My prayers to the Antichrist to change your For You page is working slowly. I will convert you to motorcycles, get you away from hatchbacks.
Also, I hope you guys all appreciate the art that we generated. We are hiring. If you are a digital artist that is willing to work for relatively cheap, I can pay you absolutely. But God. We generate. Listen, here's a debate. Here's a topic for debate for you. Is AI good or bad? And here's my stance on that, right? I think AI is bad if money is being made with it. So when we were setting this up originally, we knew we needed like a cover because we want to post this to Spotify. And we need some form of an image for just the podcast at large. And I've been working on that. It doesn't, listen, it can be not that great. So we spent hours, like multiple days, trying to find images that were good, that weren't AI generated.
I wish
we talked about some artists that we knew. We talked about like maybe hiring artists that we know that are in like gaming academy. They want a lot of money. We don't have a lot of money. This is just not in the
not yet.
So what we turned to was Google Gemini, which I'm okay with as a stopgap placeholder, but long term, not super stoked on.
Yeah, I know why you're not long term super stoked on it. Look what it did to the wheels of your car. Like, you're so...
Yeah.
This man, I've never seen him get so heated so quickly and then rage quit Discord and go to bed. I've never seen...
Here's something that we'll look at doing. We'll come up with a new channel in the Gaming Academy that is context for the stuff we talk about on the podcast. And we'll put...
That's fair.
I will legitimately put all of the images that I have generated into that chat so people can see the context of what madness I went through.
Oh.
I'll even take screenshots of the conversations I was having. Because it's like I use AI a lot for writing Dungeons and Dragons, which is something that I do for fun. I'm just not very creative as a writer. I have good ideas.
I've played through almost 2 of your full campaigns at this point. Don't believe a damn thing he says. This guy creates full 1.5 year long campaigns with intuitive characters and even lets us keep pets, even though he told us not to. So, like, don't believe a thing he says. He has really cool and fun D&D campaigns.
We'll make a chat in the Gaming Academy after this, and I will upload the images. We started from scratch, like completely from scratch. So a new chat. I've never used Gemini before, ever. But it was one of the few free ones that lets you generate images just constantly. So it was a lot of like us in the chat, and I was streaming my screen into the Discord, and it was like, okay, I don't like how that looks. Change it. You don't know what the Gaming Academy is? All right, space. Click on the like show more underneath Cobra on YouTube, where it says like for watching.
Wait.
Yeah,
space.
Cobra server.
Yeah, that's what we call it, the Academy.
Space.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I know he's in there. Fucking give me a touch of psychosis there.
You mean you're missing out on the hottest happening Discord server this side of the Saskatchewan, brother? It's all good, man.
Well, I do
But
laugh about it because at this point, for the most part, Blue has pretty much just evicted his own server that he had set up, and he just hangs out in mine, which isn't, I should say, it's not a bad thing. I do really appreciate it, and I love it because it's cool getting to hang out with him and Stephanie every day. But I was not expecting that because I am a part of his other server. And I very rarely see him post in there, except for when he does stream, I get a Twitch notification, and I'm just like, oh, okay. That's it. Other than that, he does everything in the Academy. So I do very much appreciate that.
It's you'll have that in these big jobs. Sometimes you set up a
Glad
Discord
to see Stephanie's listening.
And yes, you did not miss anything. Sometimes you go through a lot of work to set up a Discord server, and then you realize that you could have it better on the other side of the fence, and you just switch teams after a bunch of people join your Discord server. I have done that firsthand. I set up a Discord server for a friend of mine for D&D because his thing was, I'll just make a new server every time I start a new game. And I was like,
oh my God,
that sucks.
Yeah.
For real.
No, don't do that.
So I told him, I was like, listen, I'm not very good at this. Give me 15 seconds and I will consolidate all of the games into one server. This one server has
fair, Stephanie, it's all good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different games that are actively being run in it at this point. Actually, I think 2 of them are dead. I'm not even...
2 of them are just dead in the water.
But
they're there, but they're dead.
Yeah, dude. Post your art in the thing. We have an Art for the Culture text channel. Throw it in there, Space. I know you use it.
I'm pretty sure I set up that channel specifically for you, Space. Because was it not you that drew the pictures of the like galaxy and the planets and stuff?
Yep. Yeah, it was Space.
Yeah.
The Milky Way map.
Anyways,
been working on some sands and stuff. Some cool tattoo ideas.
Right. Yes, he did post those in there. Yeah. Right. Back to what we were talking about, though. Something that I found really wild and out was when I found out
with Nick Cannon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Always Cannon, because he's such a good bit. Like, when I found out that
you're dumb. The Rapture should have taken us, really.
Like I said, our brain cell is ping-ponging so bad right now. It's like that game from A No Way Out that we were breaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the mini game.
Oh, man. My head hurts just thinking about that.
Oh, dude, I genuinely had a migraine after that. But when I found out that the pastor that talked about the Rapture was from South Africa, it led me down this rabbit hole. I looked into things that were current and just like weird with South Africa, and it led me to one of their current like sports, which has been around since the 50s, but it was in England. It was created in England. It has recently, and when I say recently, I say in the last couple of decades, gotten really big in South Africa. We've heard of field hockey, correct? At least some of us. We all know what normal hockey is, ice hockey. South Africa has taken a liking to underwater hockey. I'm going to let you formulate on that for a minute. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the logistics on how the game is played. Do you play it with scuba suits? Because that's my first assumption. My second assumption is, what do you use as a puck-adjacent object that's going to remain underwater? Because otherwise, I think you're just playing water polo, which is better soccer.
So here's the thing. Right? I'm going to say this right now at the beginning because it's too fun and funny not to say. The other name for it from England is octopus.
Octopus.
Literally, instead of octopus, it's octopus. It's actually not though, because this all takes place under the water completely. The only time the players are above the water is to take a breath. So you asked about the scuba suits. I'll tell you the gear they wear. Okay, they use mini sticks. They wear fins for mobility, masks to see, and thick, and I shit you not, thick latex gloves. So they're basically wearing like triple padded doctor's gloves to grip the mini sticks. That's it. No oxygen tanks. Do you want... This is a 6-a-side team with no goalies. The puck is designed to be... It's weighted alloy in a plastic sheath, pretty much, so that it looks like a normal hockey puck. But you have 12 people under the water fighting for dominance while trying not to drown. This is just completely insane to me, because like nobody likes the feeling of drowning, right? Why would you want to do that as a leisure thing? But yeah, the reason why I found this out was that South Africa has become one of the like leading nations in this underwater hockey league. So I was like, okay, what is this? And I started looking more into it, and I was like, this is stupid. Because, like I said, they hold their breath under the water until the point of passing out before they come up for a breath, so that they can coordinate with the other team members who are above water taking their breath, so that when they're coming up to take a breath, the others go down and continue the literal wrestle for the puck. And my first thought was, why is this recognized as an Olympic sport? Because I shit you not.
It's an Olympic sport?
It hasn't been televised as an Olympic event yet, but it's recognized by the Olympic Sports Committee. And that just completely throws me for a loop. How is that possible? Because, like, think of it. How is this a spectator sport? You can't see shit. Like, you got a bunch of people sitting in the stands screaming while a bunch of hazy figures are swimming under the water throwing sticks at each other. How do you know who's winning? I can see your face in your webcam, and I can tell this is baffling you.
I thought humanity peaked at stuff like there's a guy on YouTube who makes videos about the Marble Olympics. This is something that my roommate Landon introduced me to. Or I can't remember what they actually call it, but I think it's in Germany. There is a whole sport revolving around like the operating of a forklift.
Oh,
I thought that's where we topped. We apparently not. Apparently we have underwater hockey, which is wild for a country with very little water.
Yeah. That you want to know? Okay, so there is more than 40 countries across the nations that are invested in this International Underwater Hockey League. It's actually, I don't remember the actual name for it, but it's called the CMAS, the CMAS. It's got over 15,000 participants. You like that abbreviation, did you?
So dumb. This is the dumbest thing.
I'm going to tell you some of the biggest players, okay? New Zealand, Great Britain, obviously, because they're the ones that invented it. France, Turkey, South Africa, and Colombia. Okay?
Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia.
Okay.
And that's just for the European side. There is a ton more in the Asian Pacific Underwater League that has taken hold recently. That is, they have an under-19 division for men and women, and under-24 as well. Now, the thing that's completely wild to me is New Zealand. Yes, they have beautiful water and stuff like that, and, you know, scenery and all that, but not really known for their swimming or pools, correct?
I
think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Guess who the leading country has been for the past handful of years in this league?
New
Zealand.
Have to assume, I was going to say New Zealand or South Africa.
It's insane.
It's got to be one of those two.
So there was a total of 17 different nations held during the World Championships last year, for example. New Zealand, I shit you not, made a mockery of everybody in every division. So male and female for both under 24 and under 19. I went so far as to look at the scoreboard for each final game. First of all, it was held in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So that's already a weird place to hold that because, you know, it's not like they're really known for a lot of water sports either. But Under 19 women's division. New Zealand beats Colombia 1-0. So that, I feel like that would have been probably a pretty intense game. I feel like that was probably a buzzer beater kind of thing. Under 19 male. New Zealand beats France 2-1. Under 24 women's, New Zealand beats France 6-0. France got made as a fucking staple point of bullshit for that game. And the under 24 male division followed suit by beating Australia 6-2.
The way you said that, the way you implied that statement was that you had, one, you've watched this sport, and two, you got invested in the France versus New Zealand game.
I shit you not. No, I have not. I actually, like I said, this all stemmed from the fact that Pastor Joshua Lakella, however you say his last name, Pastor Josh, Brother Josh, was from Josh, was from South Africa. This is devolving even more. This is getting worse. This all stemmed from the fact that Brother Josh was from South Africa, and I saw another. You know how Google autofills your suggestions when you're typing in, said other things you might not know about South Africa. And I was like, okay, well, we're looking for things to talk about, so I'll go into it. We already had an idea to talk about sports and like wild sporting events sometimes.
Yes, we did.
This was what came up, was underwater hockey. So I went through the list of all the things to know about underwater hockey, and then I was like, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, because the statement on ESPN said that New Zealand made a mockery of everybody.
ESPN covers this.
The website was ESPN. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Okay, if ESPN is saying this, literally word for word, New Zealand made a mockery of everybody in the World Championships. I want to see what the scoreboard is, because, I mean, as you know, I used to be an athlete, so I always like to see what the scoreboard is for the final result, to see how bad of a loss it was for the opponent. And yeah, that's how I found all this. I went on to the CMAS World Championship League and found the list of all 210 games that were played for the World Championship over the course of the month, which is also wild in its own right, because the games are 15-minute halves with a 30-minute break in between, because, you know, swimming's hard. And so they were playing 3 games a day. So 17 nations were playing 3 games a day per division. That is a lot of fucking underwater hockey.
I feel like those athletes probably get clowned on a lot, but like from a pure physical fitness standpoint, they would actually be extremely fit.
Oh, it is.
Because you're right, swimming is very difficult at high levels, right? I think the only people that would have any kind of leg to stand on mocking the water hockey players would legitimately be sprint swimmers.
Yeah, no, that's
Michael
right.
Phelps of the world.
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's not to say, like, the sport in itself sounds like a gag. Like, it sounds like a joke. But
it sounds like a bit.
It does. But in reality, it is very much a physical sport. And with the length of time they're holding their breath underwater while doing strenuous activity, that's why I started thinking about it. And I was like, hey, how did this sport come about, given that it was made in 1954 in England? This was actually originally designed for divers and British commandos. But at some point, these nut jobs looked at it and said, hey, the pain and suffering of being forced to stay under the water for extended periods of time while pushing a weighted puck around, let's do it for fun.
Could be a great sport.
You know, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like,
could you imagine if we let people bet on this?
Yeah.
It opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Honestly, the only reason why we're hearing about it in like more recent news, though, is because not only is the Olympic Committee actually thinking about letting it be an Olympic event, possibly in the future, the reason being is because when the sport was designed, right up until like the 2010s, we didn't have the technology to efficiently like record something like that under the water with cameras. It was all word of mouth. But now technology is advanced enough that we're able to. So the Olympic Sports Committee is genuinely thinking about making this an Olympic event in the future because we now have cameras that can see clearly with high resolution under the water, and then we'd have the normal cameras above the water like they do for divers, like the points divers.
I'm gonna put this into the aether now. Olympic Committee, if you're listening to this, like I know you are, all great and powerful people listen to the Yarn with Will and Chris. Olympic Committee, if you're listening to this, I will hyperfixate and be a commentator for water hockey because I feel like this could be great. This could be the funniest thing I ever do.
You would have way too much fun with it.
It would be so much fun. It would just there is another thing that I think I could have a lot of fun with, and I might actually get my shot to do it. My lovely sister-in-law is an author.
Okay. Oh, right. You were talking about this earlier. Yeah. Tell me more. You said you were holding it in for this.
I've tried to keep as many of the details from you as possible because I wanted an absolutely unfiltered reaction to this.
Now's the time.
Here's some setup and context. So my mom is very big into audiobooks,
which is surprising, but good to know.
Yeah, so she doesn't have time to read, and I get it. I listen to audiobooks all the time. I love audiobooks. They're a fantastic form of medium if you don't have time to read. Books are also fantastic. So my sister-in-law recently wrote and published through Amazon's publishing service a book, and I will include a link to it in the Threads from the Yarn Text channel in the Academy server.
Okay.
If you choose to read it, it's I think it's still relatively inexpensive. Amazon does weird things with book pricing. So please don't at her about it. But
sir, I work here. I'm not the manager. I don't set the prices.
So I was visiting with my sister-in-law, my sister, and my brother on Monday. I went to the house to go visit them because my sweet baby nephew is adorable.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
And while I was hanging out with my nephew, I was listening to them have this conversation about how she has officially published her second book that will be released for sale on the 15th of October, which I think is a Wednesday. So you best believe we will be sponsored by this book on that day. Absolutely free. Got to get it out there into the aether.
Yeah, free plugins.
She was talking to my mom about it, and my mom was like, I still haven't even read the first one, lol.
Oof.
When it gets published as an audiobook, let me know, and I will be the first to buy and listen to it. Now, I have been told in the past that I have a voice that could narrate audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I've never received my opportunity to do so. So on Tuesday, while I was at work, dying of a chest cold, I sent her a message. I was like, hey, I have a really funny idea. Bear with me. And she was like, okay. I was like, your debut book, Tangled in You. Honestly, I'll do it for all of them. No money. But your books, Mom won't read them. And she went, yes. I went, what if I narrated your audiobook and we never told Mom? And when you listen to an audiobook, it always starts with Audible presents Tangled in You by Tori Foster, narrated by, and instead of giving my name, which is an immediately dead giveaway, I was like, narrated by a consenting adult.
I almost said your name.
And then I start reading the book. And then I read the book. Because it's funny for multiple reasons. It's one, because this is an extremely smutty book. I own a copy.
No, you don't say. Tangled in You.
It is. Listen, it has a spice rating from the Book Talk Girlies.
Aw, Chris, are you getting your white girl status out there?
I gotta get my white girl status up. This is how I'm gonna find a girlfriend. That's be my pickup line. Have you ever listened to the audiobook Tangled in You? I narrated that. I am a consenting adult.
That was this guy.
Yeah, this guy right here. I am a consenting adult. But the other reason why this is funny is because we want to give my mom the first copy of it
Right.
And just at no point ever tell her it's me.
See how long it takes before she realizes.
And see how long it takes and see what her like guttural reaction to this information is.
Well,
and just gaslight her until she finishes the book. Like, no, I wasn't. That would be weird. Mom, I read that book. I wouldn't be caught dead narrating that book.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How would I keep a straight face the whole time?
Well, and to be fair, if you run it the way, like, if you read it the way you read your, like, D&D scripts and stuff, because we know that you barely have anything written down, and you formulate stories on the spot that are, like, super intense and in-depth. Like, I shit you not, everybody who's listening, if you ever get an opportunity to be a part of Chris's D&D game, you will be so mesmerized by his storytelling that at some point you're going to notice the words just become a blur because you're so intent on listening to his voice that when he asks you what you want to do for your turn, you do what most of us do, and we go, because we were so caught up and enthralled by listening to him, and I can see him going red on his webcam right now because he wasn't expecting this. But it's the truth.
Very high praise of someone that's very bad at their job.
It is the truth, though, honestly. Like, you are very good at storytelling. This was effectively your idea to do this. And I was just down to go along with it because I know that you and me can just, like, shitstorm about anything. You were the one that literally spurred this on. What was it, 3 weeks ago? We were sitting at a bar and you took a drink of your beer and you looked at me. We should do a podcast. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. That's not what happened.
Don't believe his lies.
I'll set the record straight. I'll set the record straight. Episode 1. All right. Here's what happened. Will and I had been at a bar for some time with some friends of ours, catching up, telling stories, sharing stories. And Will went, you know what? I really enjoy telling stories. I enjoy listening to stories too. And I was like, yeah, me too. And he went, I think a podcast could be fun. And I went, yeah, so let's do a podcast. And then we went home that night and we immediately hopped in Discord. And I was like, all right, we call it the yarn. And the reason why it's called the yarn is because a yarn, to have a yarn, is Newfoundlander slang for telling a story. So we call it the yarn. Having a yarn with the boys. And that was kind of where we started. And then, we went through the rest of it. Like, what did we talk about? How long did we go? What day? I don't know. And so eventually we landed Wednesdays at sometime after 6. And we'll just come up with something on the fly. We'll just let her rip. I have more written down. We haven't even touched on it. I do want to tell my story about Tuesday that isn't.
Yes, because I saved that in our snaps.
potentially getting to narrate a smut book. Steph, that's very cool that Ollie's family did voice work for some of the
I saw that, and I've been reading that over and over while listening to you. That is actually really cool.
So, anyways, shortly after that happened on Tuesday, and Tori was like, I'd be so game for that. You and I had been talking about the Rapture, and then I was like, hey, cool, lunchtime. Brother, I love eating me some lunch. It's kind of like spinning the yarn. Exactly.
Got to get your hangry out.
So I go to eat lunch, and I had brought a container full of chili that my lovely roommate Angela had made.
Man's worst enemy.
And microwave it, walk back to my desk, super excited. My chili's heated up.
It's like spinning the yarn.
I reach over on my desk to the drawer I keep my disposable spoons in, and I open it, and it is empty. There are no spoons, no forks, no knives. And I'm like...
Made a good situation bad.
I was like, oh, dear God. And I was like, well, you know what? A while ago, I grabbed a spoon from the house, and I brought it to work, so maybe it's still here, because I always clean them, and I leave them next to the sink. So I walk around to the sink in the shop. No spoon. So now I'm sat there, and I got nothing, brother. It's like I'm looking at steaming chili, and I can't eat a dime.
Time to go caveman
I use
style?
nicotine pouches.
Oh, no.
I use nicotine pouches.
Oh, you didn't.
Zins have a removable top lid because you're meant to put your used in it. And in my webcam, and I'll put a picture of this in Threads from the Yarn, you will notice that there is no cover on my Zins.
Hello, Space. Welcome back. Oh, no.
And the reason why is because I used it as a spoon. And other than the fact that it sucked the entire time, it actually wasn't that bad. And so I was like, as just a fun, dumb story, I think would be really funny to tell to internet friends. It's just
you made the best with what you had.
I did everything I could in the moment, and yeah, so it was a really good Tuesday. It was like I got potentially the opportunity to do the old audiobooks, which I have actually been kind of angling towards. I have some there's some websites that I am a member of that does like online audio auditions and stuff like that. So I've been, I throw them out. I don't get any, but I keep throwing them out. We'll see.
Well, the big one fair. You're not going to get anything
that I got to do.
Tossing your name out there.
Yeah, the big one that I got to do is I got to reinvest in a better microphone. I sold my studio mic that I had for many years to a friend that runs D&D games because he uses a headset that's worse than mine. For context, chat, I use the same headset that a much more famous Twitch streamer uses. Not by like I didn't choose that. I didn't know we had the same headset until after I saw a Barley the Burg clip on TikTok.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, there's millions of streamers out there now and people on social media, and there's only so many brands and models.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reinvest in a studio microphone, which will be twofold because podcast you gotta keep the energy in the studio high. Audio quality is key, and audiobook. Yeah, because I told her I was like, I will sign an exclusive deal with you right now. One, I will record all of your audiobooks for free because it's funny. Like,
just do it for the bit.
You got to do it for the bit. Also, I think it would be hilariously awkward.
That's fair, Space.
For me,
I do apologize. We've been focusing more on the Twitch side than YouTube.
But yes, that was Tuesday, and then I get home from work, and I sit down at my desk, and I'm really excited, and I go to read a manhwa on my phone, and comic.io shut down.
Oh, that's why you were so upset this morning. I woke up to a 9-minute voice message about his manhwa and manga websites being shut down. And he was like, some of them are still up, but this one's not, and this one's not. And I was like, man, he's aggressive. I wonder if he had his coffee yet.
It was pure tragedy. And so now I have to use manga decks like normal people, which is fine.
He's been degraded to
it works better than the website I had been using. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun this week. And then like today I was sitting around, I was telling you before we started, I sat around all day, fucking notepad in my hand, pen in my other, waiting for something funny to happen.
It's always it's always when you're looking for it, you don't find it.
Give me another good story.
I got multiple voice messages from this man today about how nothing has happened at all. Like they're all a minute long of like, well, still here. Nothing's happened. No stories. Nothing funny. My notebook's empty.
Yeah. So and then I got home, and this is breaking news. Apparently Sony's State of Play was today. The Battlefield 6 campaign trailer is out. You can go watch it now after this is done.
I haven't watched
it. It looks so good. I'm massively excited for that. I can't wait to see how it plays.
I am looking forward to
every weekend of the beta.
Yeah, same.
It was unreal.
Poor Mass Effect got treated like it was the redheaded stepchild for 2 weeks in a row while I played the Battlefield 6 beta.
So yeah, it was the days it was slow until I got home. We're getting a new version of Gran Turismo 7, which I can't even play. Don't own a PS5. And we got the Battlefield 6 trailer. Like, what more could you want, really? I think.
Um,
You know what I mean?
what more could you want? Well, I do want to prove you wrong about something. That's always a given.
You can absolutely do your best and fail.
It's time for the Rage Bait Corner. So let me regale everybody about a
This
conversation
motherfucker thinks he's gonna get me.
we had a conversation earlier this week about a game I had played on stream, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Is it a fighting game or an MMO? And this man refuses to listen to reason about how it's a fighting game, or at least an RPG, not an MMO. And so I legitimately wrote down all my thoughts about it so that I can formulate them in a conversation to tell him how he's an idiot. So, this is the Rage Bait Corner.
You're gonna be wrong.
No segue into the Rage Bait Corner ever.
Put this.
We always just.
You really want to put this on the record?
He's already getting closer to his camera. He's already leaning closer to the camera. I love it. We're never going to segue into the Rage Bait Corner. We're always just going to jump into it and see who gets flatlined first.
Who crashes out harder?
Okay. So, I want you to explain why you think it's an MMO. Because I do genuinely want this to be a conversation, not just us pissing each other off.
So Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2 are both massively multiplayer online games. I will grant, when you said RPG, I feel like that was part of the initial conversation we had that I had taken, was it is also a role-playing game. But I will grant that it can go kind of either way on this. So I'm going to state that it's an MMORPG because it's got a solid story-driven aspect to it, while it also contains, and like it has a PvP element to it, which could lean it to be a fighting game. But the problem with all MMOs is it's a grindathon. For all of like the really good stuff that everybody wants to build the meta for your character, like, could you eclipse it with raw skill? Maybe. But not likely.
100%.
You need to have.
I have seen multiple
the right
people.
Skills, the right items. You have to be, you have to be half good at the game, because if you're not half good at the game, you can't get the stuff that gives you an edge, regardless. So because of the grinding and the actually good story, it's a Xenoverse game, so the story isn't actually that good, but like we'll pretend it is for the sake of argument.
I hope Blue never hears this. The poor man's gonna have an aneurysm.
That I like how one viewer left on Twitch, and that was probably in my head. That was Blue. He heard me say that and immediately crashed out.
We just heard his soul.
So in my mind, it's an MMO, and it's always going to be an MMO.
That's the problem with this conversation, though, is that we're perceiving it as things that other people aren't, but that doesn't mean that's what it actually is, right? So think of it this way. The core of the game revolves around 3D arena combat with the characters, so they can showcase their special moves and energy-based abilities. It's essentially like an amped-up Mortal Kombat, only on a 3D plane. You know, there's another game that's prime example of that, Bleach Rebirth of Souls. You know, that is also a 3D plane fighting game, 1v1, or you can do, I think 2v2s is a mode that they added as well, and ranked and all that. But a lot of the aspects that people would say are MMO about this game are actually RPG elements, such as character creation, progression through leveling, and resource management. That's role-playing, not MMO. The only claim it has to MMO is purely the online hub that you can access prior to missions and challenges, which you can turn off, correct? You can go on offline mode and just be in that city by yourself. That essentially right there shuts down the fact that it's an MMO, because true MMOs don't have that, right? Like you look at RuneScape, World of Warcraft, stuff like that, true MMOs, you can't play offline by yourself. No matter what you do, there's always going to be someone in the server with you. So I feel like, and the whole point of an MMO is to play online in a persistently online world. Therefore, the game should be classified as at least an action role-playing game. But because of the 1v1 and 3v3 capabilities, I think it's a fighting game. Because that's pretty much the staple point of the game, is you're fighting character on character. I can see him percolating.
I'm trying to think of a good comeback.
I don't think you were waiting for. I don't think you were expecting a genuine explanation from the Noti.
Yeah, you never explain anything at all. To answer Doc Onishi's question in the YouTube chat, what are we moaning about? We're moaning about how Will is wrong. About the fact that Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2 are fighting games, not MMOs.
I will state I don't know about Xenoverse 1 because I've never played it. So I am purely talking about Xenoverse 2.
It's like the same game, it just has a different combat engine.
Oh, fair, okay.
Here's Xenoverse's parallel missions and parallel quests.
Right, yes.
All heavily favor playing it in a social aspect.
Correct.
Playing them solo is brutally difficult.
Correct, but they still give you the option. For that reason,
they do. But you can run a raid in Destiny solo or World of Warcraft. Is it going to go well for you? No, but it can be done.
But you can run it solo, but not offline. Not offline. There's a difference. You can run it solo, but not offline. Whereas with Xenoverse, you'd be running it offline. He's rubbing his mustache so hard right now. Did I catch you up? Finally. Look, okay, I'll say this. The hardest...
This might be the one argument you've ever won. So I might have to just let you take it.
Okay, I will say this, though. I can't
think of a solid rebuttal.
I will say this, though, to your benefit, is that it doesn't conform to traditional fighting games. However, that is because of what people think fighting games should be or what they used to be, correct? That doesn't mean that they're not subject to change. And that's the problem with personal opinion and actual statistics, which I've proven here quite well, I think, that Chris is wrong.
You know what the problem is?
He's starting to vibrate.
Here's the problem. I keep going back to it in my head, but it's something that you already stated. The problem with my stance on this is that Xenoverse, neither of them, have an overworld.
True.
Which is something that MMOs have. They have an explorable overworld.
Yeah.
The hub doesn't count.
No, but that's the closest thing you have.
It never changes.
Yeah. That's the closest thing you have, though, right?
You can definitely, if you really wanted to, you could definitely play an MMO offline. Like, there's ways to do that.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Steph says I'm talking about my skill issues. Yeah, you got me on that one. I'm terrible at Xenoverse games. I always have been. Not to say I don't like them. They're Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. I'm just not very good.
Just some of them are better than others.
Some of them are way better than others. Like Sparking Zero, which is a fighting game.
I heard that game was not as great as advertised. I heard that a lot of people ended up going back to Fighter Z.
As a straight fighting game, probably not as good, no. Because it falls into the same problem that Xenoverse has, which is that certain characters and certain things are just better. So
yeah, that's fair.
Playing. Yeah, thank you, Blue. The game sucks. So this whole argument's invalid. I haven't lost anything.
Okay, no, to be fair, I've watched some of Blue's new, because he's been doing the parallel quests and stuff. Holy Christ, the AI is designed for you not to be able to beat it. Keeping in mind, this is the man who walked me through the whole story mode while I got my ass kicked 6 Ways to Sunday. He showed me a video of him doing it. He beat a fight that took me 10 minutes in less than a minute and a half. So if this man is struggling, I'm never touching the game again. I would legitimately break a controller or put my fist to the screen. I'm just not putting myself in that kind of situation. But the difficult thing, though, is that it, all of these classifications, they're just subgenres, right? It's like, for example, a lot of people have called it an arena fighter as well. But again, that's just a subgenre deviation from the broader umbrella of traditional fighting games. So a lot of people are saying, it's this or that, or, it's not this or that. But all of these subclasses of game styles are just deviations from the original platform,
Your Honor, my client has one more piece of evidence he would like to submit to the jury.
You piece of shit. I can see your mirror behind you. What are you looking at on your screen? Are you on Steam?
I absolutely am right
piece of
now.
Shit. This is supposed to be about opinionated and facts, not you looking up fucking pages. I had this all set up prior, asshole. You're supposed to convince me of your facts.
I only need one thing. I will convince you with what every PC gamer considered as gospel. The Steam store page. Okay. The Steam store page genre tags for Xenoverse 2 are as follows: single player, MMO, online PvP, shared split screen PvP, online co-op, Steam achievements, Steam Cloud, Steam leaderboards, family sharing. Those are. It also has user-defined tags, which are anime, fighting, character customization, and action.
Exactly. The users put in the proper tags. You realize that the automated ones from Steam, most of the time, are wrong, which has been proven.
The genres input by Bandai are action, adventure, casual, and massively multiplayer.
You realize a lot of those automatically put on there are wrong though. Prime example, there is a Sonic game on Steam right now that says it's a first person game, but it's not. It's third person. I've played it and I got rid of it the same day because it sucked ass. But those automated ones are wrong. They are put on there with some of the aspects of what the game has in it, but not the overall arching of what the game is. That's why I like to look at a lot of the user coordinated ones.
You guys hear how he's crashing out about this right now? I think that means I won.
Oh yeah. Look, all I'm going to say...
All of the tags, 2 out of the 3 tag sources for this game confirm massively multiplayer. I will say that Doc's point is right, is that the thing with MMORPGs in general is that 80% of the player base frowns upon the RP player servers. Yeah, that's right, because like GTA Online, I think would also be considered as an MMO. Because it has an overworld that's dynamic. You can play against people or with people, depending on how you queue up. But like, there's also just dedicated RP servers for it, and everybody shits on them for no reason. They're just guys having fun. They're just doing what they want to do. Granted, there have been GTA RP servers since San Andreas, so that's a thing that's just never going to go away. I can't wait for 5M to launch their GTA 6 RP server.
That's another prime example.
I can come home from an 8-hour day at work and put in a 4-hour day in GTA. Just kidding. I don't like GTA that much.
That's the thing, though. Is GTA games are another prime example of this whole conversation of not being a true MMO. They're classified as an MMO on Steam because they have MMO aspects and elements, but a lot of those elements coordinate with other types of games as well. So it's not like it's specifically designated to just MMO. Like you have plenty of games you can play with your buddies online, but it's not an MMO, right?
Hilariously, of all the examples I gave as like MMOs you can play online, I think Destiny is probably offline. Destiny was probably the closest I have to like a winning counter, because Destiny you can run the entire game offline or like without internet. The problem is that Destiny in and of itself is a live service game now, so it has to be connected. But there was a time before Forsaken came out for Destiny 2 where you could bump the game into offline and you could play. The problem is that like when it has to liken you like that first time you reconnect to the internet is brutal. It took for a while.
Fair. I've never played Destiny, so I don't know. Honestly, though, my like strategically placed bulletproof point was the fact that MMOs are persistently online worlds, correct? You cannot turn them off in any aspect. True MMOs. You always have that there no matter what you do. As soon as Xenoverse gave us the option to turn it off to play offline by ourselves or just with our friends, it's not an MMO. But the problem is that a lot of the elements from MMO are still in the game because those elements fit into other game classifications. And Dr. Onishi kind of made a good point. He said the problem is saturation. There are too many games. Not wrong. Factually correct.
Yeah.
But
you should see Will's list of games to play. He has 2 monitors on his stream setup. One of them, his entire desktop is game icons. That's the list.
Which, as I've beaten them on stream, I have slowly gotten rid of that. I have been slowly downsizing. Every time I beat a game on stream, I get rid of one off of my home screen. So it's only a quarter of my screen now. But that is the point I was making to try and finish this off. And
it's a good point.
To prove that you're wrong, I'm right. I'll be keeping the brain cell.
Listen, you can't have it, but I will give it to you that you are right on this one. I honestly forgot all about that conversation, and then you were like, is Xenoverse an MMO or an RPG? And I was like, this son of a bitch. I can't believe he's dragging up the past.
And you know what? Next, hey, look, it's just like a marriage, dude. You can't let go. You gotta hold grudges. That's the thing, though. You gotta. I'm gonna keep Rage Bait Corner as a completely unexpected thing. So next week, if you want to do a Rage Bait thing on me, then that's fine. Because that's the thing, is I kind of literally Rage Bait Corner. I cornered you unsuspecting, and I had a whole plethora of shit prepared for it instead of coming in blind like you did. Which is why you were searching up Steam in the background.
Listen, Your Honor, that didn't happen. My client played Oopsie Daisy. He slipped.
But
it is.
So that means next week, if you want, you can take the Rage Bait Corner. Although we all know that's going to end very quickly because it's hard for me to formulate if I don't have a plan.
But what if...
Unga bunga.
But what if the Rapture is actually the 25th? We might not survive to next week.
Well, then I guess I hope I don't have to see you next Wednesday.
I have to go sell my vehicles and become homeless real quick. Just to bring it all full circle.
I like Dr. Onishi's thing. 7 centuries ago when I was a kid, you got 2 games per year, so if you got a shit game, you're screwed.
Speaking, you know what? We'll talk this last piece of news and we'll end it off.
Oh, Blue, that's amazing.
The last piece of news for the week. This was 2 days ago now. It was 2 days ago, or it might have been a little longer ago. Halo Reach officially turned 15 years old this last week.
Why you gotta hurt my soul, man?
Yeah. God, 7 years ago when you got 2 games a year, I remember getting Halo Reach. That was an excellent game. That was before I knew what Xbox Live was. It was just me and my brother playing Firefight endlessly and Forge. The Forge world, I remember finding out Xbox Live existed as a thing and downloading custom Forge world maps where you could race warthogs.
For me, it was...
That's a deep cut.
It was Call of Duty on the PSN network.
Yeah.
Either way, both trash-talking, microphone eating...
Yes, Blue. Getting George's armor. That was the first set I grinded for in Reach. I wanted to be just like my boy.
Not gonna lie, when I first saw George in the campaign, that was my first question of Fred, was how do I get his armor? Why? George is just the GOAT. He is the guy.
Yeah, he is. He's the only Spartan 2 on Noble Team.
Yeah.
He is the biggest Spartan 2.
The biggest motherfucker.
He's the biggest motherfucker.
There's a reason he picked up a whole ass Spartan and just tossed him out of like a Covenant ship.
George, I want to go up east. George, I want to go up east.
Literally just like, have a nice flight.
Yeah. Tell him to make it count. But I think that's legitimately all we got. I mean,
to be fair,
I don't have anything else written down.
First go around, the rage bait did keep us going for another half an hour.
It did.
I was able to watch you vibrate for 30 minutes. I'm happy.
You'll have to come up with something. Like more angering for the next one. You'll have to get me like legitimately tilted.
Honestly, you were about to tilt me a little bit because I thought you were gonna say more credible. I was about to be like, you motherfucker, I know where you live. I don't work tomorrow. Anyways. I will make you miss work tomorrow.
Welcome back, Space. You came back just in time for us to pull the curtain close, roll the ball back up, throw it in the corner.
Yeah.
Join at the literal end.
Yeah. Man, you have a knack for that.
If you have a contender for something for us to ramble about, throw it in the threads from the yarn chat. I will check them. We have a running tally of stuff that I'm at some point going to digitize so that we can add to it independently.
Well, we got plenty of more topics to talk about too, so there's more to look forward to next Wednesday, and hopefully I won't.
We didn't even talk about how Randy, whatever his name is, the CEO of Gearbox, basically went out and told people their computers sucked, and how Borderlands 4's launch failing is our fault. I love it when millionaires tell me I'm the problem.
Yep. We could decide if we're going to do that or another story of the week next week, depending on what bullshit the world has cooked up for us next week.
What would you do on the day after the purge? I will tell you next week on the day after Rapture.
Yeah, after we know we've all survived. Other than that, though, that's it? We're good?
I think so.
I just looked over after I was looking at OBS to end it, and I looked over, and you were deadpan staring me through the webcam. Are you still mad about the Xenoverse thing?
I'm not mad.
Oh, he's not mad. He's not mad. You heard it here first. He's not mad. He would 10 out of 10 recommend this argument again.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, on that note, good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of The Yarn. And we look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday.
We'll be back. Yep. We got a thing he's doing. We're hard at her.
Yep, exactly. All right. Good night.
He said. Love you. Bye.